Did the Dead by Daylight 10th anniversary actually have 2 chapters? Let's talk about that. I had a few people point out to me in my last video that there are way more connections with the unknown than I had originally realized. If you were here when All Things Wicked chapter launched, you remember how great the teaser campaign was as we headed towards release. A lot of it was found footage or random text messages that together created a lot of hype. And after listening to the audio repeatedly, I'm now certain there are a lot of connections between the night we watched on the cabin camera and the night from Unknown's teasers. I'm going to go through Unknown's teasers slightly out of order because it'll make them line up with the cabin footage. The first Unknown teaser we're going to go over is actually the 4th one they released, and it seems to be an email from a concerned friend to someone's parents. That email reads, "Important about Ryan. Hello, Miss Allen. I'm Ryan's roommate, Danny. I think we briefly saw each other during orientation week. Ryan mentioned where you worked a while back, and I found your email address on the company's website. I think something is wrong with Ryan. It started today. Ryan was excited to try a new trail on his daily run and said he'd meet me in the dining hall for breakfast after. He never showed up. I found him in our room after my first class of the day. He was scribbling at his desk. He was still there when I came back hours later, sitting in the dark, still scribbling. He snapped out of a trance when I called his name and said he'd lost track of time. He seemed normal over dinner. When I asked about his day, he said he'd been busy studying. We got back to our room, he left to take a shower, and I got curious. I wanted to know what he was working on, so I waited until he was in the shower and looked at his desk. You'll find a picture attached to this email, but there were dozens of them. Under his bed, crammed between the mattress and the slats, hidden behind the blinds, littering the floor in his closet. I even found a single piece of paper under my pillow. I pretended like nothing happened, but shortly after we went to bed, I heard it again. The scratching of a pencil against paper. He'd started scribbling again. He's spiraling, and I don't think I can handle this on my own. I reached out to our resident assistant, but they can't do anything until something happens. I don't want to wait for that. Could you come and check on him? Danny." And this is the picture attached. Now, if you notice, there's multiple times this could be the person referenced in the video. One of the most obvious times is much earlier in the day when you see a person running in the back right corner of the footage. It's worth noting that at the exact moment that person appears, you hear a crow caw at the cabin. There's also another time where someone is simply walking, sees something, looks terrified, and runs away. We don't know how long we really watched the cabin. Sure, it was 13 hours, but that was probably just thematically to tie in for Jason. It could have been a time lapse to signify almost 24 hours, so what seemed like afternoon in the live feed could have been morning. Now, if we were really watching in real time of 13 hours, it's possible this teaser is actually referencing the first video that Behavior posted during the cabin stream, and that footage is actually from very early that morning. The reason I say this is the footage they posted was at nighttime. However, they posted it at the beginning of the cabin stream when it was still very much daytime. This person was supposed to return and have breakfast with their friend, so it wouldn't be shocking if he was trying a new trail super early in the morning, and this video was a recording before any of the other teasers would have taken place, especially since there seems to be some kind of rain or snow in the footage that doesn't seem to exist during the cabin footage. They're never attacked, just spooked, and shortly after, Behavior posted a tree picture to their socials. That photo also appears to be at nighttime or very early in the morning, so maybe that was this person trying to take a picture of what they saw, because when these were posted it was still extremely bright at the cabin. We're going to move on to the third unknown teaser. This teaser is a series of screenshots from a text conversation. Those messages read, "Pizza tonight? Sounds good. I'll pick it up on my way home. Thank you, love you. Love you too. Everything okay at home? Yeah, just cleaning up. What's up? Got a notification from the security system. Saw something weird on the feed. Can you check the back door? Weird. What did it look like? Just a blur in front of the camera. It's too close to tell what it is. Raccoons, maybe. Maybe, but it had to be pretty tall. Camera's at eye level. Just checked. Nothing there. Door's locked too. Okay, thank you. We'll keep an eye on the little rascals. We should start leaving the garbage in the garage. Yeah, you're right. Working late? Yeah, sorry. Should have texted. Almost done. Everything okay? The neighbor's dog won't stop barking. Again? Third night in a row. I don't know what to do. I rang the neighbors, no one's home. The dog stopped barking, but he's whining now. It sounds wrong. I'll be there soon, wrapping up. I hope he's okay. Love you. Love you too. Hey, something's in the backyard again. It's too dark to see what it is. That was probably me. Stepped out 5 minutes ago. I thought I heard the neighbors. Wanted to check on the dog. Maybe stay inside until I get there. I can go talk to them after. Okay, it wasn't them anyway. Love you. Love you too. Pepperoni? I'll just grab 2 different ones. We'll have leftovers. Got the pizzas. Almost there. Lisa? Where did you go? Things to note in this conversation. It's happening earlier in the day because they're discussing bringing home dinner, and the timestamps on the messages start around 2 p.m., then jump to around 5:30 p.m. The dog heard in the camp footage is earlier in the day just before it's getting dark, so it would make sense if this is the dog from these messages. To go along with this, the 6 unknown teaser is most likely the notifications and footage from their security system. It's also worth noting that the forest looks very similar to the kind of trees we see in the cabin feed. The next unknown teaser we're going to go over is the first one. Most of us assumed there was a good chance we'd get a diner map when we saw this teaser, but we didn't. We got the Greenville movie theater. So perhaps we're looking at another variation possibility in the future, especially since the new license is for Jason, not Friday the 13th. I think the first unknown teaser references 2 events during the night. At the beginning of the teaser, you see unknown attempting to mimic a conversation that they overheard Ashley having earlier. I'm going to read this first part and tell you where I think it fits in.
It's me,
She started.
Can you pick me up?
She tried, hesitant.
Me up. Pick me up. Tyler, it's me? Hello?
Perhaps this is a dialogue of the girl we heard crying on the cabin camera. Her crying was her being scared in the woods after running from unknown, and there was no video of her because she dropped her phone at the beginning of the encounter and was lost and scared in the forest. Her crying sounds very echoey, as if she's far away, and that would mean she didn't see the campfire or know anyone was nearby. Okay, let's continue. I caught a glimpse of something in the light. It looked like teeth. Too many to count. A phone rang. Not mine, but Ashley's? Tyler was calling. The tall figure shifted, and then it spoke. Its disembodied voice sounded almost exactly like my own.
Home,
It said.
please.
I ran without looking back, branches tearing at my skin, slicing my arms and cheeks. I reached the diner and threw myself inside, locking the back door behind me. I waited for a thump, a crash against the door, but it never came. I stood there for a while, still clutching Ashley's phone and before gathering enough courage to sprint to my car. It's 3 a.m, and I don't know what to do. Tyler keeps calling Ashley's phone, but I don't know what I would tell him. I want to believe this is a cruel prank, but I can still hear it now. Floating softly through the window. A voice. Haunting and familiar. So close to my own.
Please,
It begs.
I want to go home.
As you continue reading, you see the girl says the light glimpsed unknown and then she ran. In the cabin footage, you see a girl with a flashlight, frantically looking for someone. Then she sees something that terrifies her and she runs away. Perhaps this was her running from unknown and back to the diner? I don't have timestamps for these because I saved them all to a folder, But the flashlight appears very late at night, and after she's been hiding in the diner for a bit, she says it's 3 a.m. and she's too scared to run to her car. Unknown does not immediately chase her to attack at the diner, but she is periodically haunted by the sounds of her own voice. This gives the Unknown plenty of time before 3 a.m. to run around doing other chaotic things then return to her. Before we move on to the next teaser, we're going to set the stage for Unknown's release trailer. If you listen closely, you can hear someone approach what sounds like a tent, get inside and zip it up, as well as a very light crackle from a campfire, presumably someone going to bed for the night at their campsite. Remember this for later. The second teaser for Unknown appears to be a social post where someone talks about events that happen around 2:30 a.m. on an audio recording, which ends up being Unknown. This not only could have overlapped with the last event where the girl is scared to leave the diner before 3 a.m. because she hears Unknown, but it has another tie-in too. The post reads, "Hey neighbors, did anyone see or hear anything strange in the area last night? I got woken up around 2:30 a.m. today by it sounded like someone rummaging around in my backyard, so I opened the porch lights to see what it was, but I couldn't see anything at all. I got dressed and walked out onto my deck to get a closer look, but all I could make out was this weird buzzing noise, and what I thought was maybe whispering." As you know, our house was one of those that got egged a few months ago by some kids from Greenville High, so immediately I thought this was another one of their dumb pranks. I pulled out my phone to record and started walking towards the noise, hoping I'd catch them red-handed, but I found nothing. I couldn't tell where the sounds were coming from, so I went back inside. I obviously can't sleep now, so I'm listening to what I recorded. See attached. And I have to say, I'm really creeped out. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Now, before I let you hear those recordings, I want to note she mentions hearing buzzing or something that sounds like whispering. Whenever the entity first reveals another realm at the cabin, you hear what sounds like whispers. I believe she hears a tussle outside and goes to her porch to investigate, which leads to her hearing the entity, but I don't think she immediately comes out. I think she takes a bit hoping it's nothing, but does hear the whispering sound. During this time, two things happen. Unknown attacks someone on camera, but they don't scream. However, they do make a bit of ruckus, and if you listen closely, you can hear a dog barking, which not only ties into the previous teaser, but would mean they are near houses, even if in a forested area. I believe this noise is what finally prompts her to get out of bed, get dressed, and investigate. However, this takes a little bit of time for her to do, and because of that, Unknown continues with shenanigans. We're going to pause with that teaser for a moment and move back to the campsite. At this point, I believe Unknown returns to the cabin, and you see the initial jump scare and skitter across the ground. Shortly after that, the events from the All Things Wicked trailer happen. I'm going to play that now, then I'm going to let you hear the audio from the cabin that seems identical.
I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's something pacing around my tent.
Listen closely, you can even hear the victim's muffled talking before the attack happens. Now, Unknown finishes the attack and quickly returns, or teleports, deeper into the forest, where the woman from the previous teaser is now outside investigating all of the strange whispers, buzzing, and chaotic noise she might have heard not only from before, but during the campsite attack. These are her recordings. Two things about these recordings. It's very hard to understand what Unknown is saying, but a few things I think they say are, can you pick, hello, call me, please. So it definitely still sounds like Unknown is in that loop referenced by the possible flashlighter, whether that be from her or her friend. Also, the weird anxiety-inducing noises are very similar to the sounds that happened just before the person is attacked in the video behavior posted. That video was posted on socials about the same time this would have happened. The biggest similarity is the end of the final recording. It sounds very close to the ominous music that built up just before Jason awoke. Here, compare the two. Lastly, I believe the fifth Unknown teaser actually takes place after Jason awakens, so it's technically in the morning and someone is experiencing the aftermath. It's a series of screenshots and text messages talking about someone going missing. Let's check those out together. Guys, I just found something really disturbing on Sean's phone and I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. He went camping with his friends this weekend. I went to pick him up this morning, but after an hour of waiting around, he still wasn't there. I kept texting and calling him and he wasn't answering, so eventually I got fed up and just started walking up the trail to try and find him. I didn't find him, but I found his phone and a flashlight by the path. What the fuck? I was freaked out. I'm sorry, I'm shaking so much right now. Typing is rough. Are you okay? Please, just run to your car. I can leave work. I'll come get you. I went to check his phone to see if I could find info there about where he might be or what might have happened. When I unlocked it, the camera roll was open. What do I do? Are you in your car? Go! Right now! Lock the doors. I'll be there in 5. I'm on my way. I believe the person referenced in these texts, Sean, is actually the person attacked in the video posted of the person running. They're hit pretty hard and are running with a flashlight and phone. He was supposed to be hanging out with friends at a bonfire and having fun, then went missing. All this happens during the cabin footage, and the bonfire is lit till very late at night. I don't believe he's the one from the actual All Things Wicked trailer, because they were in a tent and not where their stuff would have been just left by the trail. And with that, I hope you enjoyed going down this rabbit hole with me. What do you think? Should we be looking at All Things Wicked Part 2? Or were all of these simply Easter eggs? Seems odd to me that Behavior would have a killer-only chapter for such a big anniversary. Do you think we'll get another announcement? If you like this, drop a like, a follow, or even leave a comment letting me know your thoughts. You can catch me live most days on the Purple app. See you later!